Hi everyone! So we're going to make a really tasty, delicious tofu scramble wrap with a creamy raw vegan dressing and salsa. This is not a fully raw vegan dinner. It's more on the high raw side. Definitely plant-based, definitely vegan. There are some cooked food items in here, so it's not fully raw, but you most certainly can make it fully raw if you'd like. But this is more on the high raw side, so enjoy the video, guys, and let me know what you think if you try it. So the first thing we're going to do is cook our potatoes. So I got red potatoes and regular yellow gold regular baby potatoes here. So they're the smaller ones, but we are not going to use any oil. You do not need oil to cook these. You don't need oil. Don't add extra oil to things. You don't need it. It's not good for you, number one, and you don't need it. There's other ways of doing this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse these, cover them with water, just rinse them off, put them on the pan, put it at 350 and put it in the oven. As those potatoes are cooking, we are going to make the salsa now, okay? So it's out of the Dr. Greger's How Not to Die cookbook. We're going to make the summer salsa here, okay? So it calls for tomatoes, yellow bell peppers, red onion, hot chili pepper, lime, cilantro and parsley, and then his savory spice blend. So I'm going to alter this a little bit because I don't have all the ingredients, but I got close to the ingredients. It's still absolutely delicious. So let's get started on that. So I'm not going to do the full recipe. It's just me. So I'm going to make one small batch. I'm just going to use one Roma tomato. And I'm going to cut up some leek onion. I think leek onion has the best flavor and it is like the most nutritious onion out there. I think it is so delicious. So I have never strayed away from leek onions. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. Then we're going to do a couple small baby bell peppers. Then I'm going to put in probably about a third of this jalapeno in there for added spice. Then we want to put in fresh lime. So what I do is I also like to pull some of the lime pulp out too. So there's some lime pulp in there also, kind of adds more flavor. Next, we're going to put some fresh cilantro in there. I am not a big fan of cilantro, but man, when it's in salsa, heck yeah. So I'm going to put the stems and all in here. So next, I'm going to put in Dr. Greger's Savory Spice Blend, and all it is nutritional yeast, onion powder, dried parsley, dried basil, dried thyme, garlic powder, dry mustard, which is mustard powder, paprika, ground turmeric, and celery seeds. We're just going to start with a tablespoon. I'm going to slowly add it. So it's probably actually like a half a tablespoon I'm going to put in. But you most certainly do not have to add this savory spice blend. You can add just make your favorite salsa. So the salsa is kind of like a pico almost, like a pico de gallo. I think I pronounced that correctly. But probably it's like of course a chunkier salsa, but man, is it delicious on wraps, and oh, it smells so flavorful. You can even add garlic to it if you want and stuff like that, but the rest of this dish is going to have garlic in it, so no need to add it. So I'm going to make it kind of more basic. So I'm going to do like half a block of tofu. This is the rest of my last block of tofu, and I'm just going to like crumple it. So pull it off like this and just kind of crumple it. So it's in like big chunks. So we don't want it in tiny pieces. We want them in sort of larger size pieces, kind of like that. So I have another block of tofu. I just took probably like a fourth of that, and I'm gonna crumple that up. Next, I'm gonna add red beans, probably about a half a can, but I just kind of need to use those up. So I want to say that's about half a can. Then I have my potatoes, and I kind of just mix all my ingredients until it looks like it's an even balance of them all. And then I've got black olives. Now black olives, there are cans of olives out there that don't have that nasty preservative in there. So that's the one you want to get. And I think it's a Kroger brand, I think. I can't remember what brand it is. But I love olives, so I'm putting lots of olives in there. I've got my leek onion, a little bit of leek onion here that I chopped up. I got garlic. I used 2 cloves of garlic that's going in there. And then I have mini bell peppers. They're red, yellow, and orange. And then I have these baby Persian cucumbers. So I'm using the rest of my last one. And then I'm gonna cut some more up here. So now we're gonna add our seasoning. So the seasoning that I'm gonna put in there is I have to use the rest of my coconut aminos. I don't see any tofu scramble recipe out there that adds some coconut aminos in there, but I have found adding a little bit of sweetness, it really helps. I'm not adding any salt to this. I don't like adding any salt to my meals. There's plenty of natural sodium in the plant foods, in the foods that we're eating. For me, mistakes, I don't like adding extra sodium. Once in a while I do, but coconut aminos does have added sodium to it already. So that's another thing. But if you are one that likes to add sodium, feel free to add pink Himalayan salt to it if you like to taste. So I'm gonna put enough coconut aminos in there till it we don't want it super liquidy. I have to use the rest of this. So I'm using the rest of this one up. And this is a Trader Joe's brand that I've got. And then I couldn't find any other coconut aminos except the Bragg's Organic Coconut Liquid Aminos here. So this has extra added ingredients to it. It's organic coconut blossom nectar, water, organic apple cider vinegar, and sea salt. So those are all good ingredients. Those are okay. A little bit more sodium in here, but this is the next one that I'm putting in there. I'm gonna add some curry powder and just enough just to cover to taste. You know, I'm sorry I don't have actual measurements. It's just enough to kind of cover the top there, as you can see. Then I'm gonna do ground turmeric as well. Gonna do the same thing that I did with the curry powder. I'm gonna do cracked black pepper. Okay, so we still have not turned our heat on yet, so I am mixing everything together, just kind of see the even balance, just to make sure it's all enough spices on there, and a tasty taste test as well. Then we'll heat it up just a tad bit, just so it's warm. Then we will make our dressing. So now we're gonna do a little tasty taste test. It's all mixed together. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. I'm so hungry for dinner. Oh my goodness. On the lowest setting here. The lowest setting. So we're just gonna heat this up until it's lightly warm. Okay, now the creamy dressing is going to be fully raw Christina's macadamia nut and sunflower seed dressing. It is super good. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of macadamia nuts, 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds, 2 to 4 cloves of garlic. I'm actually gonna I got 2 small ones here and 1 large one. So I'll put that in there. Then the juice of 1 lemon. I've got pre-juiced lemons here. They're in my ice cube tray. So I'm gonna do actually 2 of these lemon cubes. Half a cup of filtered water. Then 3 to 4 tablespoons of tahini, but I'm only gonna start off with only 2 because tahini goes a long ways and there's already a lot of fat in here. So I'm just gonna start off with 2 tablespoons of very creamy liquid tahini. And this dressing, her dressing, does call for pink Himalayan salt. So this is one recipe I will add sodium to. I think it, of course, tastes a lot better with some sodium, but it says 1 teaspoon. That is way, way, way too much for Miss Stace here. So I'm only gonna do like 1/4 of a teaspoon, or even just like an eighth of the teaspoon, because salt is so easy to distinguish in a meal that a lot of these recipes, it's like, oh my gosh, you're accustomed to more sodium, obviously. But you know, that's what happens. That's what another thing that happens with processed foods is it's so loaded full of sodium. And that's another thing that is not good for you either, is having too much sodium. We definitely need sodium, but we don't want a whole lot. want to make some sprouts. You most certainly don't have to put sprouts on there, but I love alfalfa sprouts, so I have alfalfas here I'm going to put on here as well. And then for leafy greens, I got some leftover spinach, or last of my spinach I have to use up, so I think spinach goes the best with here. Actually, you know, kale would be really good on this too, kale. And then I have my tomato sauce. This is a homemade raw tomato sauce. If you watch Miss Stace long enough, you know what this delicious stuff is. The wrap I'm going to use is Ezekiel 4:9. So as described in the Holy Scriptures, take also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and spelt, and put them in one vessel and make bread of it. Ezekiel 4:9. Remember to love being raw, vegan, whole foods, plant-based, whatever floats your little boats. Just remember to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself the best that you know how. And don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. Have a wonderful day today. I'll put a big old smile on your face today. I hope I did it for you. Have a good day today, you guys, okay? I'll see you next video. Bye, guys.